So I think it's pretty fair to say that Megyn Kelly did not have a very good debate night. She watched the same thing that we watched, and Donald Trump got absolutely schooled by Kamala Harris. She laid trap after trap after trap, and Donald Trump walked right into every single one of them. As I heard somebody else put it, he followed every single rabbit down every single hole. So Megyn Kelly probably wasn't too happy to see that. And she decided to grace us with an unhinged rant for the ages. She got very upset that Taylor Swift came out with the endorsement of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And she somehow turned that into some transphobia, some anti-COVID vaccine rant. It was quite a sight to see. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. I will watch it with you, and we can evaluate along the way.
Because I guess she decided, oh, this will be fun to crap on him when he's down, when she perceives him as down. Taylor Swift just endorsed Kamala Harris. Taylor Swift, yeah. She posts a picture of herself with her cat.
I just have to say, this is such an excellent troll, I guess you could call it, by Taylor Swift. They continue to degrade women. J.D. Vance continues to talk about school teachers and childless cat ladies and how they need to have children. And this, from Taylor Swift, was just perfect. Chef's kiss to this meme right here.
Look at this. You can, of course. Like, you can kiss your sales to the Republican audience goodbye, Taylor. Hope you enjoyed them while you had them.
Why do conservatives continue to do this? Go woke, go broke. That is rarely ever the case. Why do they always think that people should suffer just because they disagree politically with you? It shouldn't have been a big surprise that Taylor Swift was likely going to vote for a Democrat. She voted for a Democrat in 2020, so this shouldn't be surprising. And not to mention, Taylor Swift, her Eras tour, is officially the highest grossing music tour ever. It's becoming the first to surpass $1 billion in revenue. The tour, which began in March 2023 and is set to conclude in December 2024, after a total of 151 shows worldwide, has earned $1.04 billion to date. She still has the rest of the year to go, and she's already setting records. I just don't understand why these conservatives continue to wish, financial consequences for somebody who doesn't agree with them. I think it is quite pathetic, and I just wish they would quit it.
And this is what she posts. Like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now's a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you most.
I'll just say that this isn't pretty milquetoast endorsement, if that's what you want to call it, but she's telling her listeners to go out there and do the research on the topics that matter most to you and make your decision based on that research. She didn't make it super partisan. I know that her voting for the Harris-Walz ticket is a big deal, but the message accompanied with her post is pretty soft. Not very partisan at all.
As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about the proposed policies, etc. Recently, I was made aware that an AI of me falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to its site, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so I find this particularly hilarious because it's very possible that Donald Trump, trying to use AI-generated images of Swifties, could have very well given her another reason to come out and make this endorsement. And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, this is an actual post that Donald Trump posts on his Truth Social account. He says, "I accept," and then goes on to list Swifties for Trump. clearly generated by AI. Swifties turning to Trump after ISIS foiled Taylor Swift concert. I mean, is this dude serious? Did he honestly think that something like this was going to work? Taylor Swift wants you to vote for Donald Trump. I don't know. I think it's pretty pathetic that Trump even did that. It wouldn't be surprising if Taylor Swift has already sued him, is going to sue him over trying to use her name and likeness for his own endorsement. I mean, how pathetic, Donald Trump. But let's go ahead and keep on going with the video.
And the simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. I am voting for Kamala because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she's a steady-handed, gifted leader. And I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of her running mate.
And this is where things start to go downhill.
Tim Walz, who has been standing up for LGBTQ rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. Oh, my God. So this woman is fine with his plan to take custody of the children from parents who don't want them to chop off their body parts and put them in Minnesota court's custody so the body parts can be chopped off and they can be sterilized outside the custody of their parents. That's what led Taylor Swift to endorse it. Can I tell you something? I criticized her about 6 months ago when she came out strongly in favor of, she went to a fundraiser to raise money for Hamas, supposedly Palestinians, but the group that was doing the fundraising was known to funnel the money to Hamas.
Okay, that is quite a stretch. What I think she is referring to is that Taylor Swift went to a comedy show and one of the performers was donating his proceeds to a humanitarian organization that was going to benefit Palestinians. Pretty crazy. To say that she was somehow funneling money to Hamas is quite a stretch, Megyn Kelly. Unless I can see evidence to the contrary, that is like blatantly false.
And I said, people should boycott her. It was an offhanded comment. People went nuts. Some lunatic dropped a note in my personal mailbox outside my house begging me not to boycott Taylor Swift, as though I have that power. I'm allowed to criticize Taylor Swift, and I don't give a shit who gets upset. This is disgusting. If she wants to vote Harris Walz, she can do it all she wants. But to say the reason she's doing it is because of Tim Walz's stance on LGBTQ, F you, Taylor Swift, and F all of the people who want to see these children have body parts chopped off and watch them sterilized under the age of consent, and then will ride off to their multi-gazillion-dollar mansions, never to think of them again. Emily, this is unbelievable. The left is losing its mind. She signed it Taylor Swift, childless cat lady.
I think you might be the one losing your mind, Megyn Kelly. That was quite an unhinged take you just had there. How is it even possible that she turned the Taylor Swift endorsement into a rant about children getting their sex organs chopped off? How is that even possible? What she is referring to is the Minnesota House File 146. Some had deemed it the Trans Refuge Bill, and it was signed into law in April 2023. Let's go ahead and read this. It amended the law governing which court would have jurisdiction over child custody cases involving more than one state. This is not controversial. If parents get divorced and takes the child to another state, we need to have some system in place that is able to establish who has jurisdiction, who is going to hear the case, so on and so forth. The law now gives Minnesota courts temporary jurisdiction to hear child custody cases when a child is in the state with a parent to seek gender-affirming care. That's it. It does not authorize the government to take custody of children whose parents don't consent to them getting gender-affirming care. So 49 states already have systems like this in place, and all this bill did was add gender-affirming care to one of the reasons that Minnesota courts would be granted or grant temporary jurisdiction. So that case could be heard in Minnesota. Courts will not automatically rule against a parent who doesn't consent to a child receiving gender-affirming care. Courts seek to determine parental custody based on evidence about what is in the child's best interest. Megyn Kelly is nuts. She often does this where she'll take some issue and then spin it into some anti-trans whatever. She can turn most issues into some trans bashing. She does this often. Taylor Swift didn't say she was coming out to endorse these things. All she said was the LGBTQ community needs a warrior to stand up for them. That's it. That's not controversial. These people need to have somebody looking out for them as well. And Kamala Harris and Tim Walz will be the people to do that. This is quite a crazy rant by Megyn Kelly. Let's go ahead and finish it off.
This pair, Taylor and her boyfriend Travis Kelce, are the epitomes of elite snobs. They both have gazillions of dollars. She doesn't care what happens to these kids, just like he doesn't give a shit what happens to all the young men who take that Pfizer booster he's been pushing on them. I'm sure he's totally fucking clueless about the myocarditis taking the lives of young men in this country who didn't need the shot to begin with, never mind a booster.
Okay, settle down, Megyn Kelly. Jeez. COVID-19 will give you myocarditis at much higher rates than the COVID-19 vaccine will. This has been studied time and time and time again. There is a minuscule risk to men under the age of 40 after they receive a booster of the Moderna vaccine. That has a slightly elevated risk of myocarditis. But we are talking about a fraction of a fraction of a fraction. This is so rare. Most people recover from myocarditis in just a couple days. Most cases are mild. And it is even a smaller number where it turns into a fatal situation. So I don't know how these people continue to get the facts wrong. They continue to misconstrue the evidence to deceive their voters. I just don't get it. It's very quite frustrating to me.
Where's Travis Kelce going to be? Because those are his fans. Where's he going to be when these boys wind up with heart scarring that causes heart attacks and potentially death? They will be sitting in their mansions in Rhode Island and California and New York and jetting across the world saying, let them eat cake, because they'll be bathing themselves in their own sanctimony, too obsessed with their money and their concerts and their football games to have a thought for those they've hurt.
Holy jeez. These people are not going to beat the weird allegations when they continue to go on their shows and do stuff like this. A simple endorsement from Taylor Swift that could have been seen a mile away by most people turned into a rant about vaccines and trans kids getting their privates cut off. I mean, this is absolutely unhinged stuff. So I just thought you guys should see this. I thought it was quite hilarious. I hope Megyn Kelly takes the time she needs to recover. She was obviously very upset by Donald Trump's epic debate loss that everybody got to witness firsthand. So if you guys liked this video or got anything out of it, please remember to hit that like button and please remember to subscribe. I am a budding new content creator and I would very much love your support. If you guys want to see my breakdown of Kamala Harris's performance of the debate, I will go ahead and put that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I will see you guys on the next one.